UNC Police Update, as well as information about upcoming honors celebrations.
We also have the full story of when we can expect to attend live music again at a popular venue known as Red Rocks Amphitheater. All that and more, only on Bear News.
Thank you for streaming with us again on Facebook Live, where you'll find our show every week. Once again on Bear News, I'm Austin Sack.
And I'm Catherine Stala. Are you looking to apply to the University of Northern Colorado for fall 2021? Well, because of the pandemic, the admissions process is a little different this year. Austin, what can you tell us about what new students can expect?
Absolutely, Kate. A new round of first-year students are getting ready to start their UNC careers, but the process to do so is a little different this year. With the pandemic, many changes have been made to the admissions process. This includes accommodations like virtual tours for students that don't feel comfortable coming to campus. This is meant to give students the same information they would get during the typical in-person tour. But in-person showings are still happening. For safety, just one student and their family are allowed to join, but this allows for a more personalized tour of the areas on campus that the students will frequently use. Students will also participate in new student orientation online. Though most of these changes were made for safety in the pandemic, admissions counselor Ian Jimbrowski says some of the changes might stay in some form.
The last year has been a lot of testing different options and ideas and trying to find ways to get those connections in. And some of them have worked really well and, like I said, have been so much more accessible in ways. So hopefully we're looking to kind of go to a combination of that.
Some of these pre-college on-campus events are a student's first opportunity to make friends and experience the college life. Hopefully students can catch up on their social life once classes begin.
You see UNC police vehicles and officers around campus regularly. Most people think they know what officers do, but UNC police officer Rachel Hamburger gave some deeper insight into her lifestyle as a police officer.
I wanted to do something that makes a difference and helps people. Being with people when they're sometimes at the worst point in their life can be helpful. When they're like super upset about a situation, like you can kind of be a comfort. We have discretion, like we don't give everybody that we pull over a ticket all the time. Like we don't have to be like heartless people that don't see that somebody's having a bad day. I think it's good that people are voicing their opinions because that's what America's founded on. I just want people to know that we're not all the same and there are police officers that are trying to make a difference and trying to make the world a better place. And the world's a big place, so it takes a while to make a change. But there are people that want the bad apples to be held accountable. My least favorite part about being a cop is probably the danger I put myself in, especially this week with the Boulder shooting and everything. Kind of put it into perspective what my kids face if something were to happen to me.
If you'd like to get a closer look at police work at UNC, ride-alongs are open to members of the public.
Mitchler Library will look a bit different when students return for full in-person classes this fall. You probably noticed the tarps hung over the bookshelves or the dilge of construction equipment, and there's a reason for that. UNC hired Adolphson and Peterson Construction to update the library's fire sprinkler system and ensure it's up to code. Company officials said between new regulations and previous remodeling projects over the years, the existing system is outdated. They've been on the job for a bit more than a month, and they're almost finished installing the new sprinklers on the 3rd floor and started installing the system on the 2nd. Construction will continue well into the summer as work on each floor takes a month. They also installed new carpet on the 1st floor. This is not the first time UNC worked with Adolphson and Peterson. They've installed systems in several other buildings on campus, including Fraser, Carter, McKee, and Crab Hall. But Superintendent Matt Swope says this is the largest project his company has ever done on campus. While all the construction is annoying, if you're looking for a quiet place to study, it's all being done for safety.
As the countdown to graduation grows closer, UNC caps Academic Excellence Week by honoring outstanding students in honors convocations. The College of Humanities and Social Science hosts its Convocation Sunday. The ceremony is virtual because of COVID and is scheduled at 2 p.m. Sunday, April 11th. After a general session, departments will split into virtual celebration rooms. Honored students received a certificate of excellence after being chosen by the faculty in their department or program. The awards recognize superior achievement in their studies, as well as leadership and extracurricular activities. Bear News would like to congratulate all recipients for their well-deserved achievements. To attend the virtual HSS ceremony Sunday, students and family members can find the proper link at the college's website. Have you been enjoying the warm weather around campus? With today's high of 70 degrees, we encourage all Bears to enjoy some sun. Meteorologist Mackenzie Lake is back with us in the studio this week. Mackenzie, what else can you tell us about our current conditions?
Thank you, Kate. As we can see right here, we have beautiful blue skies. There's only a couple clouds in the sky, and we are, as you said, sitting at a nice 70 degrees today. So I would definitely recommend getting outside and enjoying the warm weather while it lasts. Earlier today, I did see a couple of students taking full advantage of the warm weather we're having. They were using their hammocks, doing picnics in the park, and even doing classes outside. So whatever you need to do to get outside, go ahead and take those measures because we will be seeing snow later on in the future. I'm meteorologist Mackenzie Lake. Tune back again next week for the full weather tune back again later in the show for your full weather forecast. Back to you, Austin.
Wow, Mackenzie, 70 degrees. I know it's really awesome to see a lot of students start to get out on campus, and it brings back the social energy we've been missing. Mackenzie, we'll see you later on in the show for your full weather forecast. If you enjoy live music, well, there's some hope. Red Rocks Amphitheater will open to host concerts this summer, but things will be a bit different. The state gave Red Rocks permission to allow crowds of up to 2,500 people beginning in the third week of April. And if COVID-19 conditions improve, the venue will allow more people to attend concerts. But if you're going to a concert, you still have to wear a mask and be socially distant from other concert goers. It will be nice to watch a live concert at Red Rocks this year, and with luck, COVID conditions continue to improve so even more people can watch a live show.
The pandemic has affected everyone's lives in different ways. Many people faced food insecurities and worries about where their next meal is coming from. Reporter Jordan Sherman talks to Zach Smith about food insecurity and how it could be easily solved if everyone comes together and helps out.
Zach Smith has been growing his own food since a young age. He started growing food with his family and now owns property where he grows food for himself and other families.
I was born and raised here in Greeley, Colorado. Currently, this place here is the Empire Gardens here in Evans, Colorado. And I've been here since 2008. And it's an 1.5 acre property in which I basically grow all of my own vegetables. I do grow some fruits.
It took him 3 seasons before he had a near perfect harvest.
Every year is different because I'm growing vegetables, and I think anytime you're growing food, it's seasonal. Especially here in Colorado, we have the 4 seasons, so we have kind of a shorter growing season. But I think anytime you're growing food in general, there's always a learning curve. Nature is always throwing curveballs constantly.
He believes Weld County as a whole has the potential to be self-sustaining if everyone comes together and helps out.
You can just drive around like 4 block areas and find open spaces that are underutilized, not utilized at all, and just say growing vegetables, but you could start to grow chickens, eggs. There's just on the outskirts, you could do cow, it's all the food that's available. It's just a matter of what food does one want to eat.
The land and potential is there to be self-sustaining. The main challenge now is getting more people involved to make this plan a reality.
There's like this spontaneous coming together where abundance just becomes everywhere. And then there would be probably too much food if people actually started to grow more of their own food.
Reporting from Evans, Colorado, I'm Jordan Sherman, Bear News.
For more information, you can find Zach Smith on his Facebook page at Zachary Smith or on his Instagram at One Empire Gardens. Coming up after this break, we take a look at how Bears give back.
We also have some information about ongoing student senate elections and a popular college activity you might have seen around. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Bear News. It's the beginning of April, and that means Bears Gives Back gets underway soon. So, what's Bears Give Back? It's an annual fundraising event held on once a day in April each year. And this year, it's on Wednesday, April 14th. This year, the event is a 24-hour virtual event where students, staff, and organizations can attend and donate. Assistant Director of Annual Giving, Kelsey Cran, says the day lets UNC students, faculty, and staff help others in the university community.
So Bears Give Back is our first ever day of giving. It will be on April 14th of this year. And it is it's a virtual fundraising event for 24 hours for us to really celebrate and give back to the different programs and resources and scholarships at UNC.
Crane says they'll separate the donations based on need for things like scholarships and program aid. And she said the donations can have a tremendous impact.
So on Giving Day, we are inviting our alumni, friends, community members, faculty, staff, students to get involved and give back to these different programs and areas. There will be different matches and challenge opportunities. So the opportunity to double the impact of someone's gift by making a gift of, let's say, $50. If they want to make a gift of $50, then that could potentially be matched one-to-one and for a total impact of $100.
If you want to attend, you can get more information at www.unco.edu/bearsgiveback.
UNC's Student Senate elections are underway, and this year is shaping up to be a tough race. There are 5 candidates running for student body president, representing a wide variety of majors and colleges. The student trustee race has another crowded field with 3 candidates in the running. While the candidate for director of finance runs unopposed, 2 students are going head-to-head for director of campus relations and director of student affairs. Each of UNC's 5 colleges has 3 representatives in the student senate. While the Montfort College of Business, Education and Behavioral Sciences, and Performing and Visual Arts colleges have open fields, the College of Natural and Health Sciences and the College of Humanities and Social Sciences both have a lot of competition to represent their students. Voting opened online yesterday morning and stays open until tomorrow at 5 p.m. Preliminary results will be announced April 12th and made official April 16th.
And with finals looming, it's time for a look at some off-campus distractions. Bear News reporter Rowan Williams volunteered to take a look.
With Colorado's COVID-19 restrictions easing, a lot more young adults have decided to get out and enjoy the weather.
Getting some rays is always great. Having a little bit of exercise, cardio, having to run across the other side of the table, it's all pretty fun.
Now, what are these kids going outside and deciding to play? Well, that's where amateur beer dice comes in.
Allows us a level of competition that we can't get just from day-to-day life.
Well, you're going to need a few things. First, you're going to need a couple of beer dice, a plywood table, and some friends. How is the game played? Well, what you're going to want to do is take one of the bicycle dice on your turn and throw it about as high as you can into the air, hoping it'll bounce off of the enemy's side of the table. If they catch that dice, well, then they get an opportunity to return fire, and I have to defend it. But if they miss, well, it's a point. Well, we know it's been played since at least the 1970s, and at least 2 universities have taken credit for its creation. One in California, and the other is the University of Maine. However, U.S. naval officers also say they invented the game at around the same time. The origins will forever remain a mystery, but what isn't a mystery is how much fun these kids will be having. From Greeley, Colorado, I'm Rowan Williams.
Thanks, Rowan. I know I've been enjoying the sun, and this sure looks like a fun game, but everyone, good luck on our finals out there.
This year, college women's basketball was a little more interesting because of one player. Sedona Prince from the Oregon Ducks was a sensation this season, and the Ducks made it to 4th in the Pac-12. Sedona brought a lot of attention to the inequalities that the men and women's teams faced while playing the same game at the same time. Sedona posted a video of the weight room that the women were supposed to use for workouts, which consisted of a couple of racks of dumbbells in a hotel ballroom. This issue brought traffic to her TikTok page, and she brought a huge following on all 3 of her accounts. She grew as an internet icon, causing a lot of people to watch the games to see her. Sedona is a whopping 6'7", so her height, personality, and her advocacy for women and the LGBT community made her a star. Especially on TikTok, all of her videos gained more than 300,000 views. The so-called gay side of TikTok watched the Ducks through the championship because of the attention that Sedona brought. After the Ducks lost and would no longer be advancing in the championship, Sedona encouraged her fans to continue watching women's basketball and to advocate for women's sports. Her advocacy brought a lot of love to the women's NCAA. Sedona continues to make content about her personal life and advocacy for the LGBT community on TikTok to her 1.7 million followers. Her 6'7" stature next to her petite 4'9" girlfriend is definitely worth a peek at her account. Even though the Bears didn't make it too far this year, it was still a very exciting season of women's basketball.
If you watch Bear News regularly, you already know what our show looks like in front of the camera. But what does it look like behind the scenes? Bear News reporter Kendrick Trujillo sat down with director Sophie Deutschman to take a look at what she does every week.
My favorite part about working the TriCaster is that even if it seems super stressful in the moment, it all comes together in the end, and then you have a super validating moment where you have a 30-minute segment that you're proud of putting together. In the future, even though I really love working the TriCaster, I would want to do more behind the scenes stuff. I really want to be a producer, and I want to get into writing scripts in the broadcasting industry. Working the TriCaster has made me realize that I want to be an overall more versatile journalist, and I want to learn every aspect of journalism because I already know how to make VOSATs and packages and write scripts for them, and I know how to work the TriCaster, and I've been shadowing Austin, our producer, so I feel like I've gained more of the producer and production aspect as well. Overall, want to become a more versatile journalist.
Bear News is lucky to have Sophie pushing the buttons behind the scenes. Without her, Bear News wouldn't be possible. Stay tuned on Bear News for more staff features to get to know the wonderful people behind our show.
If you're still looking for a place to get a COVID vaccination and don't have other alternatives, the Federal Emergency Management Agency has a mass vaccination site in Larimer County. It's located at the ranch in Loveland, and it's open from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Saturday. A couple of direct ways to make an appointment: call 970-498-5500 or go to larimerhealth.secure.force.com/vaccine.
Meteorologist Mackenzie Lake joins us again with what we can expect weather-wise for this weekend.
We'll be right back.
3 out of 4 Americans know little to nothing about heart valve disease. Yet 11 million Americans are affected by heart valve disease.
If you have symptoms, please don't delay your care.
Physicians are trained to listen to the heart and detect any abnormal heart sounds or murmurs.
Heart valve disease usually can be treated successfully in all patients, regardless of their age, race, gender, or ethnicity. The key is getting properly diagnosed and treated in time.
Please look after your own hearts. You have a lot of living to do yet, so enjoy it.
Act now.
Listen to your heart. Listen to your heart.
Listen to your heart.
Listen to your heart.
Listen to your heart.
Listen to
your heart.
Go to valvediseaseday.org to learn more.
There's an old saying that if you don't like the weather in Colorado, wait a few minutes and it'll change. Now, Mackenzie, considering April is one of our snowiest months here in Colorado, and we've had a lot of unpredictable weather so far, what news do you have for us this week?
Well, Kate, as I mentioned earlier, we do have snow in our future, but don't worry too much because this whole entire weekend we're looking at lots of sunshine. Taking a look at our map of the U.S., this is showing our highs for the day today. We see that these red color-coded regions will be reaching a high up to 90 degrees today. So Texas and Florida will be seeing a really nice day. As we continue further north, the yellow color-coded regions should be seeing right around 80. Then the green color-coded regions should be right around 70s. And in the Pacific Northwest region, they should be seeing around 70s. And honing in to Colorado for our highs for the day. Denver should be reaching mid to upper 60s. Pueblo should be right around 74. Grand Junction should be right around 72. And northern parts of Colorado will be right around 55 degrees. Taking a look at our conditions here in Greeley, Colorado right now, we have a high of 70 with a low of 38. We will have sunshine all throughout the day today. The only thing that we need to worry about is the wind. We will have a lot of high wind coming from today until Friday. This is a map showing our winds for today. This is around 5 p.m. We see that the eastern parts of Colorado will be seeing winds anywhere from 20 to 30 miles an hour. Denver will be right around 12 miles an hour, and Grand Junction and northern parts of Colorado should be seeing westerly winds at right around 13 miles an hour. So a relatively windy day tonight, all up until tomorrow as well, which will be cooling our temperatures just a little bit. Looking at Friday, we have a high of 52 with a low of 33. We do have nice, beautiful sunny skies all throughout the day on Friday, but again, just be aware of that wind. Then tuning on next into our advisories, watches, and warnings. We know that the eastern plains of Colorado is going to have a high wind warning. So just be aware if you are going out, just be aware of the wind that you will be seeing in the eastern plains. Around the Fort Collins, Greeley, and Fort Morgan area, we are under a fire weather watch right now. That just means that we have very dry conditions, high temperatures, and a lot of wind. So if you're planning on doing a bonfire or anything like that this weekend, just make sure to please put out your fires responsibly. Taking a look into our weekend forecast for Saturday through Monday. Saturday will reach a high of 70. Sunday we will be right around 61, and Monday will be in the mid to upper 50s. Looking at our lows for the weekend, we'll be in the mid to upper 30s all throughout the weekend. We'll be seeing lots of sunny skies, and overall it's going to be a very beautiful spring weekend. So definitely get out and take advantage, go on some hikes, and get out your hammocks. I'm meteorologist Mackenzie Lake. Tune back again next week for your full weather report. Back to you, Austin.
Thanks, Mackenzie. I know we have a lot of unpredictable weather on our way, so please just enjoy the sun while we can. After this short break, Bear Sports anchor Aaron Schmidt is back in the studio this week with his full sports cast. Don't go anywhere.
What's more dangerous? A man who isn't afraid of death, or one who's found everything to live for? I asked him if he was proud of me. He emphatically said yes, as he laid his pecan-colored head on my chest, and I went through my mind 1,000 times to figure out what that could possibly mean, and every single example ended in motivation for me. So you may not be afraid to die, but I'm more afraid to let them down. And I found something to live for, which is a dangerous motor forever fueled. See, your thoughts may be involuntary, but my actions are very calculated. I was a man with a plan, but now I'm a dad with a decree, and you can't take that from me. My sons ain't raised by no coward, and they won't be one either. If this be the measure of a man, the yardstick gonna need way more meters. I take it too far, so they never come up short, because I found everything to live for.
Bear Sports anchor Aaron Schmidt has news about UNC's women's soccer, as well as a March Madness recap. So, Aaron, how did your March Madness bracket turn out?
Well, not perfectly, but we'll talk about how March Madness turned out. But first, let's talk baseball. The Major League Baseball season is underway, and some teams are off to a great start. Unfortunately, the Rockies aren't one of those teams. The Rockies started out well, beating the Los Angeles Dodgers on opening day 8-5. Then came day 2, and it was just downhill from there. The Dodgers came back to win the second game 11-6, and the third game 6-5, the fourth game 4-2. So after dropping the first game, the Dodgers swept the next 3 to leave Denver 3-1 in a young season. Although it's early in the season, and if it's the first series as any indication, the Rockies are in for another long season. Hopefully they'll be able to get together though. Well, March Madness is over for both men and women. The women's Final Four began Final 2 on April 2nd, and both games were fun to watch because all of the teams were hungry for a championship. Top-seeded Stanford followed 1-seeded South Carolina 66-55, and third-seeded Arizona knocked perennial champion Connecticut out of the tournament 69-59. So it was an all Pac-12 championship for the women. The Stanford and Arizona played their hearts out in the championship game, and in the end, Stanford beat Arizona by a single point, 54-53, to take the national championship. Men's basketball Final Four and championship was just as exciting to watch. Saturday afternoon, top-seeded Baylor defeated second-seeded Houston 78-59, and the other top seed Gonzaga beat the 11th-seeded UCLA Bruins 93-90 Saturday night. So, two number one seeds met Monday evening to play for the national championship. Baylor came out hot in the first half, and Gonzaga was forced to play catch-up the entire game. Baylor surprised a lot of people by beating Gonzaga 86-70 for the championship. March Madness was full of upsets and tears of joy. Probably there's one safe prediction for next year's tournament. It will just be as unpredictable as this year. And UNC's women's soccer team took the field Saturday and again on Monday against Big Sky rival Northern Arizona. The Bears fell behind in Saturday's first game as the Lumberjacks started the match on the front foot. NAU got several goal-scoring opportunities, but the Bears' stellar junior goalkeeper Ashley Franza limited the damage. The Lumberjacks had 8 shots on goal in the first half against the Bears' single shot toward the end of the half. The Bears hit the gas pedal in the second half, getting 9 shots on goal, but NAU kept the pressure on as Madison Montgomery scored twice midway through the second half. The Bears' Kaylin Needling scored at the 82nd minute, bringing UNC within 1 point with only 8 minutes to go. With 20 seconds left in the game, UNC's Maddie Barco threw the ball into Lexi Pewley from 30 yards away, and Pewley sent a laser of a shot to the net to send the game to overtime. The Bears had possession for most of the overtime period with lots of opportunities to score, but they'd settle for a tie, picking up a point in the standings. But the Bears were a whole different team on Monday. They controlled most of the game and won 3-1. Caitlin Meter, Mackenzie Bray, and Olivia Seddon scored for the Bears, and Sam Larberg scored for NAU. The Bears take the field tomorrow at Weber State in hopes of improving their record to 4-1-1 on the season. And Austin, I don't know if you know this, but the Bears won the championship before COVID hit, so let's see if they can do it again.
You know, Aaron, I didn't, but it's really great to support all of our sports athletic teams here at UNC, and good luck to the women's soccer team tomorrow. And thanks, Aaron. We'll see you again next week for your new Sportscast report. Thank you for joining us again this week for Bear News. As the semester winds down, we're glad to have you join us, and we hope you have enjoyed all the work from everyone on the Bear News staff.
Make sure you follow us on our social media accounts at Bear News UNCO, and we'll see you on here on Facebook Live again next week. Good night.